different types of love, one person, a single person, single and ready to mingle, or single and satisfied. What does love have to do with it? What does love got to do with it? How do I relate to myself? Considering all those different forms of love.
And Chris is back with us. Chris Pennywell,
back.
talk to us about some of that. Break some of that down for us, of course.
Well, I mean, love is at the center of any relationship. I believe that for it to maintain. It is literally the glue that holds it all together. It's not the end all be all, but it is definitely the foundation for a healthy relationship. You have to love yourself.
Yes.
If anybody is single, and you have to learn to accept yourself, which is hard. I know that's easy. As I'm saying it easy, that's difficult. To just accept yourself, you and all your flaws, and accept.
Flaws?
Right. You have those? Are you serious?
What?
What is going on?
Perfect.
It takes a lot. It is. I've gone through that journey, and I continue to sometimes go through that journey. It's like it takes a lot to see yourself good, bad, and ugly, and say, you know what, I accept you. At the same time, working on.
Yeah, but how did you do that? When did you become okay with you? Because we grew up with so many insecurities, in life.
To be honest with you, I didn't start becoming okay with that until in my 20s.
Wow.
I mean, I started the journey. Let me rephrase it. I started that journey because, I mean, when you're coming up, all you want to do, you don't know about the complexities of life just yet.
Right.
All you know about is you want to get money, you want to get a good-looking woman as a man, and vice versa, and a lady, you want to be able just to do those things that make everybody like ooh and ah you, and it's like that is not the reality in many cases. I mean, what I mean by that, most of us are not going to be rich and stuff like that. We're going to you can still live a good life, but it's just like, man, being able to accept yourself, to accept it,
yourself,
and that is not easy to just look at yourself.
Right.
To look at what you've accomplished, what you want to accomplish, what you have not accomplished, what you've done, what you feel like doing. And just to say, you know what, in this current moment, I accept you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
that's so good. Okay. So story time.
Okay, let's go for it.
So I recently had a birthday. And I had a chance to spend my birthday in Miami. Okay, so
somebody's living it up.
Well, I listen.
God is good under somebody.
Listen, I thought I was gonna turn up, and instead I settled in.
Wow.
I was with my journal, me, myself, and I. My thoughts, my journal, and I went to the Miami Zoo. Had a great time. But every exhibit that I went to, I saw that there was a match. There was a partner. There was two monkeys, two lions, two tigers, whatever. Right. And so I started thinking, and I grabbed my phone and I started just taking notes. One of the questions that I asked myself was, Rici, are you okay being alone because you genuinely love yourself, you like yourself, you accept yourself, and you're your biggest cheerleader? Or have you defaulted to being alone because you're afraid of the sting of rejection? And when you invite somebody into your space and they say, no, I don't have time, or I don't want to, right? So
the rejection, though. Okay, so for the folks watching the show, this is a video podcast, and people are actually looking at you on camera. So please break down for people what rejection looks like for you, because people got to be watching this thinking, yeah, right, who's rejecting her?
Well, listen, like
I'm
a lot.
They're like cute girls.
Right. Like cute girls got it easy. That's the thought.
No, I'm a lot. I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am. I make my own money. I'm good. I'm at peace. There are a lot of parts to me. Educated 3 degrees. I'm good. Yeah. And am I good because I like myself, or am I good because I'm afraid of the sting of rejection? Rejection looks like you're too much. Dim your light. You're too loud. You're too jovial. You're too friendly. You have too many degrees. You make too much money. Your car is too nice. And
you get too much attention.
You're at too much attention, and it becomes intimidating to someone who is insecure and not ready to match me or exceed me. That's okay, but don't bring that here. Yeah. So the question that I had to ask myself as I was walking through the beautiful Miami Zoo the day after my 45th birthday, it was that question: am I good being alone because I genuinely enjoy my own company, or am I defaulting to being alone because I'm afraid of the sting of rejection? So how does a single person unpack that? I can tell you how I unpacked it. But I want to hear from you. You're the expert.
I'm listening like,
No,
Yeah, right. He's like, oh, this is gonna be good.
You're the contributor today. So you tell us. So how do single people unpack that tug between I'm alone because I like being alone, and I'm alone because I'm actually afraid. I'm afraid of being hurt again. I'm afraid of rejection. Whatever. How do you unpack that?
That's self-reflection and honesty. That is you cannot get to that point without self-reflection and honesty. You have to be able, and it takes time. It's self-reflection meaning that you need to ask yourself the honest questions. Now, and most people don't like to admit this, but sometimes if we're honest, we can lie to ourselves.
Right.
We can easily lie to ourselves.
Right.
Oh, you know what, that happened. You know, oh, you lost that job because they were not, you know, they just didn't know your greatness. And at the end of the day, no, you just didn't show up on time. You know, just you know,
be early to the interviews.
You know,
Right.
you know, it's like okay, you didn't present your best self or whatever. It just, you know, it wasn't a good fit. You know, and it's very difficult to do that. So we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at all of these things. We have to look at ourselves and say, okay, are we afraid? And many of us are.
Yep.
Many of us are afraid to get into relationships with people because getting into relationships with people is vulnerable.
Yep.
It is one of the most vulnerable things, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, having children.
Yeah.
It
Vulnerable.
is vulnerable
Yeah.
because they are in your space, and the closer they get, it's like the level that you adore them is also on the other end, the level that they can literally make you the angriest.
I've heard that before. Yeah, the people closest to you can hurt you the worst.
Can hurt you the worst, and not even intentionally, just hurt you.
So let's pause really quickly and talk about that word vulnerability, because I think it's tossed around a lot, and I think for us to come to a common understanding of what we mean by vulnerability, because when I think of vulnerability, I think of, at its root, I think of exposed and uncovered. Okay, I think of a puppy lying on its back, trusting the new owner enough to take good care of it, for that puppy to believe that when you reach in, you're going to pet me, not harm me. That's the image that I think of when I think of vulnerability. So what you're saying is, for a single person, what does vulnerability look like for the single person who is, again, ready to mingle, or they're completely satisfied just doing them? What does vulnerability look like?
Vulnerability, I mean, obviously, is vulnerability alone, just by ourselves. Like I said, going back to just having honest thoughts about ourselves. And I'm not talking about self-defeating thoughts.
Or self-deprecating, because that's
you know,
dangerous.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just honest thoughts of, okay, you know what? I recognize that I get too defensive when somebody brings a legit criticism, and I don't give them space to just communicate that to me because they really want to help me, but I see it as an attack. Let's say that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, going back to what you're saying, the vulnerability is, you know what? That needs to change.
Okay.
That's an unhealed version of me.
Right.
That's a sorry attempt to protect myself. Now, you're not calling yourself that. You're just saying what I'm manifesting.
Right.
It's a feeble attempt just to protect myself, and I need to work on that. I need to start looking at healthy ways to do that. To sit back, maybe even take a deep breath, because sometimes, you know, let's just use that as an example. Somebody come in and they say, hey, you know what? Hey, Chris, I have a couple of complaints. And they start bringing some complaints. Yeah. Now, in that moment, let's say I hear something different. They're saying something different, but I'm hearing something different.
There you go.
Right.
All of a sudden, that part right there.
I hear, Chris, you're not enough.
Right.
Chris, you don't do enough. Chris, you're incompetent. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, in order to protect myself, I cut them off. I don't let them finish their story. I gaslight. I flip the story. I turn and say, well, you know, they got criticisms of you, but well, shoot, no, enough about me. But what about you? Well, I don't like the way you do it. I don't like the way you did it. Then it's like, okay, now.
Right, that happens a lot. Yes.
So it's going back to saying these things like, okay, I need to, just looking at myself, I need to do that. Listen to the people that's in your life who are honest with you.
Yeah, that's good.
And and say like, hey, I didn't particularly like that, and just think about that.
Right.
Take inventory and be honest. Going back to vulnerability, it's being honest to say, no, you know what? They're right.
Yeah.
You said something on there that kind of hit home with me a little bit. In relationships, we sometimes hear things differently than they are said.
Right.
How can we how can we learn how to hear what the other person's trying to relate to us? Because oftentimes we communicate different ways.
That's good.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Just with anybody, I've practiced this. I first started it with my wife, but I practice it in a lot of my.
And she doesn't have you sleeping on the couch, so we're going to assume that's working. Whatever you're doing there is doing.
Celebrating 21 years.
Yes.
There you go.
Wow.
And because even though I know certain things and I've overcome certain things, but I still get triggered, just like any person.
And our triggers are our responsibilities. That's what my therapist tells me.
Yes.
Really, that's deep.
No, for real.
My trigger is my responsibility
because our triggers, it colors how we see the world.
100%.
It colors what I
100%.
hear. And so if someone who just maybe somebody I work with or somebody that say something that triggers me, now I have a responsibility to your point. I have a responsibility to get clarity, not react, to get clarity, to stop and say, hey, you know what? I was in a situation like this just last week. I asked this person a question, and it was a legit question. I could tell that person got immediately defensive, and they were hearing something else. So after they were doing that, and when it was my turn to speak, I let them speak. I didn't cut them off. After they got done, I said, "Okay, hey," I said, "I can tell." I said, "It." This is what I told them. I said, "It appears like we're hearing different things."
Right.
Okay, this is, and I said, I told them, this is what I'm saying, but what are you hearing from me? Or sometimes if I'm on the other end of that, because I have been, okay, hey, this is what I'm hearing. I could be wrong. And I always say I could be wrong.
I could be wrong.
This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hearing. But I want to give you an opportunity. And I'll tell them what I'm hearing, and I'm like, okay, is that true, or is there something else? What that does is it acknowledges it does give credence to what you feel.
Sure.
But then it also gives that person an awesome opportunity to give clarity.
Right. And we have to, I think, remember in relationships that we critique because we care.
Yeah.
If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't critique you. Because my critique really is for the betterment of our relationship, friendship, brother, siblinghood, whatever. It's not to tear you down. It really is to build us up. So what do you say to the single person who is ready to mingle? They're watching, and they are at the edge of their seats right now, waiting for the golden ticket. They're waiting for these nuggets that you are getting ready to share, Chris. That person who is single and ready to mingle, what are maybe 3 or 4 things that they can be working on internally so that they are prepared for whoever is prepared for them?
I would say let's start off on just the outside level. Work on your finances. Work on your health.
That money it was riding hard last week too.
Last week we're talking about money. We back at money.
That's it. We ain't got away from there yet.
I mean, because all these things are. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to have it. Because I know when I got in a relationship, I wasn't balling out of control.
Yeah.
But
He's balling now, y'all.
Yep,
He's balling
seriously.
now. But I was able to take care of myself.
Sure.
And so there was a certain level. I believe there's certain disciplines that it doesn't need to be perfect.
It's like a level of self-sufficiency.
Yeah, just self-sufficiency. Take care of your physical health as much as possible. You ain't got to be a bulging muscles because I've never been that. I mean, just nobody.
Have an active lifestyle.
Just have an active lifestyle.
Healthy.
Also, work on your relationships you do have.
Okay.
Don't be so quick to run. At the first sight of trouble, because you're practicing what you're going to become.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're practicing what you're going to become.
I like that.
Okay, you get into it with one of your friends, or you get into it with that, and you like, all of a sudden, I'm not speaking to them. Oh, I don't mess with them. And it's kind of like, okay, that's going to happen when you get spouse. Or this is what we love to do. We love to ghost people. We love to ghost people. Yeah. And all of that is internal. All of that is internal because we have issues where all of a sudden we may feel rejected, or we feel challenged, or we feel whatever. And so we just, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to be I'm going to be, just straightforward enough to deal with the issue. And maybe we may need a break, but I'm going to talk to you and say, hey, you know what? When you said that did hurt me. That did bother me.
Right.
Instead of just ignoring their texts and calls for the next few days or maybe a week.
Right.
Or we do these passive aggressive post, we post passive aggressive.
Let's talk about that for a minute. My God. Okay, so not to derail the conversation, but
derail it. It's going off the tracks. Go ahead and derail
can we
it.
talk about the level of business that people lay out on social media in relationships?
Yes.
I'm like, you learn so much. I think it's okay at a certain point in time to put in so much because it does help you to grieve a little bit and help you to release.
Absolutely.
But where is that line at?
Right.
When people are sharing and you go, okay, that's not just hurting. Now you're kind of moving into like the vicious, malicious territory.
Right.
How do we keep ourselves in check on that aspect of things?
Ooh. Yeah, honestly, I'll speak for myself because I will admit there were times I had a real bad problem with being passive aggressive. I had a really bad problem where I would do it a third party. I would come at you in a third party way. When I would be petty, but it wouldn't be direct.
Yeah.
I would be upset. I would say comments indirectly, and I had to grow from that. There's years of growth.
How did you get over that?
One of the first things I did was that I learned the concepts between being passive aggressive, being aggressive, and being assertive.
And then passive.
Yes. Wow. And passive, yeah. Oh, passive, yeah, passive, thank you. And so and so I realized at that time there were some areas of my life where I was passive. And that's rooted in fear. I had a friend of mine who was very wise. They said to me, Chris, there's only two true emotions, and everything else is more of an offshoot of either one or the other. It's something's either rooted in love or fear. Rooted in either love or fear.
Yeah, that's good.
And a lot of times when things are rooted in fear, we do things. Fear causes us to hide.
Right.
And so when you're passive, it does that. Even when you're aggressive, you're hiding because even though it seems it's more straightforward, you're coming out in such a angry way. It's you're hiding your real self because you're saying back up. You're trying to get them to back up. It's almost like a different animals, how they'll give you that warning. They'll puff themselves up. The peacock will put their wings out. I mean, not their wings, but their feathers out. To let you know they make themselves look bigger. It's hiding. It's rooted in fear. And so, just back to myself with that, I had to learn those concepts, and I had to be honest with myself that a lot of the way I went about it was rooted in fear. What was it rooted in fear? I was afraid of rejection.
Goes back
Talked
to rejection.
about that earlier. I'm
telling you.
We talked about that last week.
I was so
earlier
afraid.
This week. Yeah.
I was so afraid of being rejected because most of my life when I was a kid, I got rejected. I got rejected in a lot of times in my family structure, getting talked about and got rejected by girls early, just rejected. And there was not much, and I'll be vulnerable in this moment. Like growing up, I was the youngest. I grew up the youngest child. I actually have two sisters that are younger than me, but I grew up the youngest child. And so I had two brothers, and I use them as an example, Eben and Clarence. And Eben, and I use Eben as an example. Eben was the guy back in the day. He would walk in the room. He was the pretty boy, the quintessential pretty boy. He had every physical gift you could possibly, have. He could sing, he could dance. Every dude wanted to kick it with him, and every girl wanted to be with him. I wanted to be like Eben. I did. And then I had a brother under him. We call him Clarence. The nickname we call him Little Man. But he had every sports gift. He can get on any court, any field, anything, and he would be the MVP. Wow. He was amazing. Then comes me. At the time, I did not feel like what was inside of me was valuable because if you didn't play sports, if you were not handsome, if you were not at that time, if you couldn't do all those different things, or exceptionally well. I played sports. I was decent. I was pretty good, but I wasn't, I just,
right.
So I was not, those things were not of value. And so I got rejected a lot. In so many different spaces, and so that stuff carries with you when you become an adult. And so I didn't realize deep down I was so afraid to be rejected. So when I would have these interpersonal conflicts, instead of me being mature and an adult about it and just dealing with it, I was afraid of people's response because I was so wounded in that area. I refused to feel that pain again.
How did you get yourself over that bridge? Because obviously you're happily married now for over a decade and kids.
Yeah.
So what was a turning point where you went, okay, I am good enough, and you approached, obviously because you proposed to her at some point in time because you're married. What was it that helped you get over that hump?
Right. It was during my single life. I took time, and I'll say this, and people can choose to do whatever they want to do. I took a period of 3 years, 3.5 years, where I didn't date anybody.
Did you hear that?
Say that again.
Did you hear that?
No.
Those of you who are at home,
wow.
You are single, you are ready to mingle, or you are single and you are satisfied. Chris did not date anyone for 3.5 years.
Yep. I did that for 3.5 years, and that was my choice. Now, I mean, I didn't have a date set. I didn't say, oh, for 3.5 years. I just said, this is what I said, until I'm ready. And so I was intentional about me. So there are a lot of things about me that I needed to get together about me, and I started challenging things, and I would I started going through those vulnerable moments and a lot of self-reflection, which I still do to this day.
Right.
I was intentional about the books I read. I was intentional about the conferences and workshops I would go through. And I did that for myself and just to help work on myself to get to the point to where I can at least bring someone else into my life. But so first, good. I needed to love me.
That's so good. That inner work.
Yeah.
That inner work
I
and
needed
that
to
self-love.
love me. I was very careful. I was just like, you know what? I want to like me. Mm-hmm. I want to be in the room by myself and enjoy my own thoughts.
So you're reading my mind, because I was just about to ask you, like, what does ready look like? Because you said, hey, I was ready. Rici, you talked earlier about being comfortable in your own skin and being comfortable and knowing when you're ready. Like, what does ready look like for the folks that are just listening to this, trying to figure it out?
Ready is where you're at a place to where you feel no need to try to advertise yourself. And you realize when you come into your power and you come into who you are, you'll draw to you who you need in your life.
So, wow.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
You guys have been
So
in spaces
good.
with me. You notice
Absolutely.
I don't go in there. I'm not in every, I mean, I am a very friendly person.
Right.
But
You don't go in with a billboard on your chest that says, I am Chris Pennywell.
Yeah. I don't come in loud.
Right.
I don't come in like, I mean, what I mean by that, I don't come in like, hey, come on, somebody pay attention to me.
Right.
Somebody pay attention.
Just,
I come in, I am comfortable enough to know if you get to know me, you're gonna want to get to know more.
Right. And if you lose me, you lose me.
Yes.
All of me.
I can say this with the utmost confidence. I can say that, and this is just because we're in this on camera. I can say this with the utmost confidence that I believe in who I am and I accept me to such a degree that I can walk in and I'm not looking like there's no sense of desperation.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
There's no sense of desperation because I know who I am.
That's right.
And I'm fine with that.
You can sniff that out really quickly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly fine.
Tell it. No, this is good because this is what I want to now just kind of explore. You know who you are. You're confident in that. As a single person, you need to know who you are and be confident in that. Tell us what's the fine line between self-love and conceitedness.
Oh, now we're getting to some good stuff there.
I mean, as a single person, right?
Huge,
I mean, you're ready to meet somebody or not, but that self-love is important. You need to be comfortable being by yourself, for yourself, with yourself. But how much is too much? What's that fine line between self-love and being conceited?
That's a very powerful question. I'll say it like this. Self-love is back to where you genuinely love you, who you are. Mm-hmm. Conceitedness is love of the image of who you think you are.
Wow, I like that.
Wow. Okay. So self-love, I love who I am. I'm comfortable with that.
Who you are.
Conceited is I'm in love with the image of who I think I am.
That's deep.
Wow. So we're talking about a photo, and then we're talking about a photo with a filter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can I tell you why I love that? Because in the back of my head, I was just thinking to myself,
wow,
when you talked about portraying an image, the images you put on social media and things of that nature fall right in line with what
Right.
you're saying right there.
Right.
So loving the image that you post,
Yeah.
Right.
or what you're putting out there
Those
to advertise
highlights.
yourself.
Right.
as.
Those highlights.
And how many times do we keep things in our drafts because we're afraid to put the real picture or video out there because
Yep.
it's not going to match who I really believe that I want to be, or that image that I've fallen in love with. Oh wait, I can't maintain it, so I'm not going
That
to post it.
part.
It's going to stay in my drafts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the difference. It's the difference.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
one is rooted in reality. One is rooted in a fantasy. It's like, okay, no. I mean, there are a lot of great things about us, and we should post them. We should put that out there. I'm not going to go. Not everybody needs to see some of the different parts of me because we may not have that type of relationship.
Right. And some
But-
people just cannot handle it. They don't have the capacity to handle
Yeah.
all the many facets of who you are.
Not.
Right.
But my thing is that I'm not going to be at that point to where I believe my hype so much that I dismiss all the other things that concern me, whether it's good or whether it's some things that need to be
Right.
worked on.
Right.
I'm going to embrace all of that. Self-love says I take all of me and I embrace all of me, even while I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Conceitedness is just simply saying this. I believe this image. I have a particular image of myself, and that's where you get people who get on these social media things
Yeah.
and they start saying things like, "Okay,
I am the prize.
I
I am top tier.
what do you bring to the
Right.
table? I am the table." It's like, stop
What?
it,
Oh
just
my
stop it. And so
God.
it's this thing. And it's like, no, you're not the table.
Yeah.
You know,
Calm
you
down.
are you a great person. You are not the prize. If you going after somebody as both of you are great
Yeah, we can be a
quality
prize
people,
together.
we can be a prize together. You know, and so
Right.
that's all. Is just that image. And so when we do that, we got to constantly keep that up. But when you get in relationships, no matter how you try to cut it, they're getting you.
That's good.
Love
It,
that.
it
That's
doesn't
good.
matter how much makeup. I'm sorry.
We are.
That's so good.
We're gonna
Forgive me,
leave
I'm
it.
just
We're
laughing.
gonna leave it right there. That was
So
great.
good.
I think that's something tangible you can take with you for the week. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
really take to heart. Chris, this
So
has been
good.
an amazing.
Thank you, Chris.
2
Thank you
weeks,
for having
amazing hour with you. And we really appreciate you taking some time to come in and help us to be able to share these nuggets for the reset. We're excited about where this is going to go.
Absolutely.
And of course,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for joining us this week.
At the end of the day, we just want to know,
Yeah,
are you okay?
That's what we're trying to find out.